Yeah, big facts. CIA on the beat.
FBI linking with the agents, it's a new blend. Texas Fusion Center going deep, we gotta transcend. Undercover fall, infiltrating with the whole team. Gathering the intel, living out a gangster's dream. FBI and CIA, yeah, we moving as one force. Gang fusion in the south, we stay in the whole course. Undercover fall, infiltrating with the whole team. It's a movement, yeah, big body.
Modern national security threats, whether state-sponsored cyber attacks, corporate espionage, or terrorism, are inherently transnational. They brew overseas, cross physical boundaries in milliseconds, and end up detonating domestically. To combat these fluid threats, the United States relies on two entirely different rulebooks. By design, these rules were written to remain separate. On one side is the Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA is engineered to operate strictly outside U.S. borders, utilizing unmatched global reach to acquire foreign secrets. On the other side is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI serves as the primary domestic security service, built specifically to operate inside the homeland. These two agencies represent a clash of distinct philosophies. One relies on shadowy intelligence gathering and deception abroad. The other relies on strict constitutional law enforcement and public trials at home. National security rests on a constant trade-off, balancing the necessity of stealing foreign secrets against the constitutional mandate to protect domestic civil liberties. This matrix breaks down the core legal architecture dividing the two agencies, Title 50 versus Title 28. Title 50 grants the CIA the authority to collect foreign intelligence. However, it explicitly strips them of any law enforcement or arrest power. They can locate a threat overseas, but they cannot legally place anyone in handcuffs. Title 28 grants the FBI the power to investigate federal crimes and execute arrests. But because they operate domestically, their methods are strictly restricted by the bounds of the U.S. Constitution. Between these two columns sits the U.S. person firewall. This strict legal barrier outright prohibits the CIA from targeting Americans for intelligence collection, forcing an immediate operational handoff to the FBI if a U.S. citizen becomes involved. This firewall is a deliberately engineered obstacle. It exists to prevent the creation of a domestic secret police. The historical consequence of this statutory divide was the creation of the FISA wall in the 1990s. FISA stands for the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, and this legal interpretation totally segregated intelligence collectors from criminal investigators. That total segregation carried a fatal flaw. It directly caused the systemic failure to connect intelligence dots prior to September 11, 2001. The government responded by mandating interagency fusion. The goal was to replace a culture of separation with a culture of active prevention. The strategic solution was the creation of the NCTC. The National Counterterrorism Center is a government hub designed to synthesize global threat data from dozens of agencies into a single unified picture. The tactical solution was the expansion of JTTFs. Joint Terrorism Task Forces are localized teams that force FBI and CIA personnel to physically co-locate and share their daily operations. Post-9/11 strategy relies on a complex bridge built over the firewall, requiring constant, careful navigation within the existing constitutional framework. The 2009 Najibullah Zazi subway plot served as a real-world test for this newly integrated system. Using Title 50 authorities, the CIA tracked Zazi's training inside a foreign al-Qaeda camp. They passed this warning across the firewall to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Forces, who used Title 28 authorities to conduct domestic surveillance and execute arrests. Neutralizing a modern plot relies entirely on this critical codependence. The CIA must see the threat in the shadows, so the FBI can neutralize it in the light. Integration comes with hidden friction. A major legal collision occurs when the FBI needs to use the CIA's highly classified intelligence as evidence in a public criminal trial. Under the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, Title 28 guarantees defendants an absolute right to legal discovery. They are legally entitled to examine the evidence against them. But revealing Title 50 intelligence in open court could expose fragile human sources or technical collection methods to adversaries worldwide. The Crimes Report MOU outlines this legal protocol. Lawyers weigh the value of a criminal conviction against national security damage, facing a binary choice: risk exposing the source to win the trial, or drop the prosecution to protect the method. True interagency cooperation involves intense, high-stakes legal negotiations, where the pursuit of justice and the demands of security frequently oppose each other. The most dangerous operational reality these agencies face is the insider threat, where they are forced to turn their authorities on each other. In the 1994 Aldrich Ames case, the discovery of a mole inside the CIA forced the FBI to use its Title 18 authority to investigate and arrest a senior foreign intelligence officer. Then, in the 2001 Robert Hanssen case, the discovery of a mole inside the FBI forced the two agencies to work together to catch a spy hiding within domestic law enforcement. The operational breakthrough for catching Hanssen happened when the CIA acquired original Russian documentation overseas. They immediately handed it across the firewall to the FBI, providing the exact proof needed to execute the domestic sting. Counterespionage proves that despite massive bureaucratic friction, mutual survival and shared risk force these structurally opposed agencies into absolute trust. This quadrant chart evaluates the security apparatus. If your goal is to operate covertly and gather strategic intelligence globally, your path leads to the CIA in this Title 50 quadrant. If you want to build ironclad legal cases, make physical arrests, and enforce the Constitution, you belong with the FBI in this Title 28 quadrant. But the modern frontier sits in the middle. The National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force is a hub where high-velocity digital threats require simultaneous Title 50 and Title 28 actions. The U.S. national security apparatus functions as a deliberately divided shield. Understanding where to stand behind it keeps the entire system from breaking.
Yeah, big facts. CIA on the beat.
FBI linking with the agents, it's a new blend. Texas Fusion Center going deep, we gotta transcend. Undercover fall, infiltrating with the whole team.